Hello and welcome to The Beach View, the podcast where we talk about things and stuff. We talk about a lot of stuff, don't we, Bryce?
Yes, and today we're talking about something maybe a bit weird.
Definitely a bit weird.
Yeah, it's called Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared, the viral YouTube sensation from all the way back in 2011.
Wow.
Kicked us all off and they made more of it. It's a series, and I had you watch the first two, and we're going to talk about
Yes, you did. Yeah. So this is going to be a reaction to the first two videos, and I have to say, I don't know what my reaction is. It's definitely, I don't know why it's called Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared, because I kind of wanted a hug after I watched them. So weird. So, first of all, how did you discover these?
Oh, God. The first one, like I said, went viral, and then I found it from that. I don't remember how exactly, and then I was following it from then on out. So each successive release, I was, watching as it came out.
That's terrible. Okay, because I know you said it went viral, but I have never heard of this before. Now, after I watched the second one, I did remember that you had shown me this, a long time ago. But I did not remember it from the title. But I was like, oh yeah, that was that weird thing. So it did bring back memories, but I don't even really know how to react to it. So do you want to kind of give a basis, a basic premises of what it is?
So it's a, puppet series with a bit of animation. It's clearly riffing off of stuff like Sesame Street, that sort of children's entertainment, where you have, the puppets come together and sing a song and whatnot, but there's a twist to it, it's darker than it normally would be. So, they don't teach you about creativity, which is what the first one's on about, like a normal TV show would. The little notebook teacher thing ends up doing a lot of weird things, and then they have some sort of breakdown when it's time for them to get creative, as it were.
So basically it's this little song, educational song about being creative. And what I thought was funny at first is the little notebooks trying to encourage these other puppet things to get creative. But then he's also discouraging creativity at the same time, right?
Yeah.
So he's spell out a color, and one of them writes green, and he's like, no, that one's not creative. So it's funny because, and then one of the little dudes is like, I'm gonna paint a picture of a clown, and he's like, no, stop. So that's your first inclination that this isn't a normal video. I guess I shouldn't say that's the first inclination, because right off the bat it was kind of weird, right? So
yeah.
But then it takes like you said, a very dark turn. So the horror part comes in, where everybody basically loses it, and you gotta wonder if it's because the little notebook guy was pushing him so hard, so
yeah,
it's so weird. I don't know, my very first reaction was what did I just watch? It's so weird. So what's the message behind this? Is it just a crazy, little show? What's the point of it?
Yeah, so I've never really been able to determine that myself, because there is a message here. I'm just not sure how intentional it is, and how much of it is just accidental meaning created because of the kid show but twisted sort of setup. You do have this sort of educational figure encouraging them to be creative, but not really guiding them to do that so much as telling them to do that, and then putting up, roadblocks when they're not doing it in the exact right way. And then they end up sort of messed up because of it. They can't properly do creativity, and it ends up really dark. And then at the end, it's just now let's all agree to never be creative again.
Right. I don't know if it's the intention, but the first thing I thought of was child actors. They're got a lot of pressure on them, and they're pushed a lot when they're little kids, and then they like some of them just have a hard time in life afterward, like, and they just stop being creative, they stop acting, and they kind of have like breakdowns and stuff, you know. Like that's the first thing I thought of after watching that. It was just kind of like, whoa, there's a message here, but it's like wrapped up in this crazy little ball of like comedy horror.
And I've never been really sure, because all of them are sort of like this. They sort of push at a message, and I'm not sure how much of that is like intentional and how much of that's just because of the horror aspect, as you say. Although that's something interesting. I don't really view this as like horror. Like it has the disturbing elements, especially with their
I think it's horror.
prop design, like where it's super they get that super like mushy, like sort of gore looking bit in the cake.
Yes. Yeah, like what was that? It looked like body parts or something,
Right.
like just and then like was it a heart like crawling across the floor?
Right, yeah,
or
and then the
something?
little heart
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
It was definitely horror in my opinion. It was like, whoa, when did this take a turn? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like like a horror movie. Everything's going great. Everything's, you know, wonderful. And then like, like horror comes in, you know, everything takes a turn. I thought like the funniest part was when they were like dancing, like when the music starts getting like violent and they start dancing all crazy. Like I thought that was like, whoa, that was pretty funny. Do you remember that part?
Yes. See, to me, there's a lot of funny moments in this, and that wouldn't even register. Like, I think the line delivery is really perfect for comedy, and that's why I've always viewed this as a comedy and not a horror. Like, it just has never registered to me as a horror.
Stop! It's comedy horror.
The line where you know, green is not a creative color. I think the way
Yeah.
that line and the way it's delivered is really good. When the little guy's painting a picture of a clown, and the notebook
Yeah.
pours ink on it, and they let that linger with the soundtrack cut out for
Yes.
a second. Like, I think that's a great comedic timing bit. Oh, and at the end,
It is.
where the notebook's now like, okay, let's not be creative anymore. The little like accordion folding noise when
Mhm.
the notebook closes.
Yeah. Like it was almost like that was final. Like it just closed and he died or something.
Yeah.
But yeah. It was definitely, I mean, it's brilliant. I thought it was brilliant. And the funny part is it's super creative. So
Yeah.
it kind of goes along with what the little notebook was teaching, but it definitely was disturbing to me, you know? Like whenever you watch something and you're like, oh my gosh, like what the heck was that? Yeah, it'll haunt me, definitely. But then after I watched the second one, I remembered you saying scrub, scrub, scrub till the water's brown.
Yeah, that's a great line too, comedy line, because you're expecting green, but it says brown instead.
Yeah, and you're thinking like, what? Like,
All right, so are we gonna move into talking about the second one now?
sure, yeah.
Do you have
we can.
anything more to add on the first?
So I thought the first one was a good introduction to this crazy puppet world. I thought it was like a nice little like, okay, you know this is going to be crazy. So all the rest of them are definitely going to be crazy and disturbing. But I really liked it because, I will say when it first started and all the little Muppet creatures, whatever you want to call them, where they were like, no, we don't want to be creative, basically. You know, like the little notebooks, like trying to teach them, and they're just like, no. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's like when it first started, when you're like, okay, this is going to be a different kind of comedy. So I like that part. Like, just straight from the beginning, I thought it was pretty brilliant. But like I said, disturbing. Like, I don't know that I would want to watch all of these because it is kind of like, what? What just happened? What did I just watch, you know?
Yeah.
But the point is, from the get-go, it was definitely like, okay, let's see what happens here. So I guess, and that brings you into, after you watch the first one, you want to get into the second one and see like, what else did they come up with?
Well, when I was watching this, you notice there's like a 2.5 year gap between them. There was no
Yes.
second one. This is just something that, like, popped up on YouTube. People were spreading it around on social media. It was just, like, the thing itself.
It's so weird. I like it. Yeah. So I guess you wouldn't automatically want to watch the second one because there wasn't a second one.
Right.
And now there's like a bunch of them, right?
Yeah. I think there's 6, and I think they had, like, they got hired to do some PSA thing by some organization,
Oh, gosh.
I think.
I can't imagine who.
I think that happened. That might have just been like a gag though, so I don't know.
Oh, that's true. I kind of want to like see if there's been any interviews with these creators. Like,
I'm sure there has
what prompted them to do this?
been. It's made by Becky Sloan and Joseph Pelling.
Yeah, what kind of drugs were Becky Sloan and Joseph Pelling getting into that they made this?
Just creativity.
I guess so.
Alright, so, number 2?
Yes.
You have anything, like, you want to save for that?
Okay, so the second Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared. Well, maybe you talk about it, because I'm, like, trying to think of which one was first and which one was second.
The second one's the one about time. It's, helpfully subtitled.
Oh, yeah.
The only one of
Okay.
these that is subtitled.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so the second one with, it's like a little clock, and it's, like, singing a little song about time. And then just like the first one, it starts off, you can tell it's a little weird, but it starts off like teaching about time, and then it takes a turn for the worse. This one also was very disturbing, I thought. Actually, I think this one was more disturbing than the first one. What do you think?
Oh yeah, because they definitely, like, lean into that sort of, like, gross element from the first one more. At the end,
Yes.
they start asking a bunch of questions about time that the clock doesn't want to answer, and then it, like, ages them, because apparently it has
Yes.
powers over time, and they start, like,
And then their
decomposing.
face melts off.
Yeah.
Yes, it's so creepy. It's like definitely a plot twist. It's like it turns into this like kind of, I don't know. I don't even know what you would call it. I guess it's more like psychological horror, or just like what would you call that when it deals with a theme that's like, the ravages of time, and but it starts off like all singy and musical, so
I
it's
don't know.
it's it's definitely like how did they come up with this, and how did they go about making it, I mean, definitely you can tell there's a lot of time. Ooh, you get it? A lot of time into it, but it's like, what makes you do this? That's why I want to know, like, what inspired this? Like, how do they come up with these, like, morbid themes,
Well, I think, like, the premise is a pretty easy thing to follow from. Like, you take the sort of kid show format, and then go from there. Like, how do you twist that, make that dark?
Yeah. But why? Like, why? Why would you want to?
Well, I mean, if they are making a point, to make a point about stuff. If not, I guess, like, because again, I view this principally through the lens of comedy, so, like, that it's really funny, like a good vehicle to deliver comedy, and then you get the little, like, creepy bits in there, the disturbing bits.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's definitely, I can see I could see the first one, like the kind of message behind it. What do you think the message was behind the second one?
Yeah, again, the caveat that I'm not sure how intentional these are, but it would be that, like,
Right.
these sort of shows, and maybe broaden out to, like, education in general, is ill-equipped to deal with, actually teaching kids. Because, the
Yes.
clock goes through, like, the sort of spiel that really basically explains time, and then the characters start asking a bunch of questions about it, and rather than answering, the clock does an alarm at them, basically yelling at them, and then
Yeah.
making them age, but then it turns out it's okay because they were on the TV. But, like, I guess it's sort of that, like, these shows aren't really equipped to properly teach kids.
Yeah, well, and I guess in school too, like in general, like, sometimes like teachers aren't equipped to handle like the real deep questions, or maybe they are equipped, but like it's considered inappropriate maybe to like get into all that stuff. And I think now it's there's more of a focus on mental health, but that's kind of where I went with it. Like, oh wow, like students of any kind are trying to learn, but when they start asking like the real hard-hitting questions, like the teacher can't really answer them, you know. So it's like it can lead to this like, well, how are you guiding the student if you're not really answering the hard questions? Now this is like, that's obviously like a stretch from what they produced, and like you said, we don't know what's intentional or not, but that's kind of what came to my mind when I was watching that second one. It was just like, whoa, it's really funny because it's like it goes into horror so fast, you know. Like it takes a turn so fast. I thought that was kind of cool.
More on the comedy thing, though.
Yeah, I'm like horror, you're comedy.
I think this one's, like, really good at it. I think it's... Well, that's, again, like, that's why I love this series so much. That and, like, the designs are really good. Like, they put, obviously, a ton of work into, like, their costuming and, like, set design and prop design. Oh, and animation. There's some animated bits.
I was gonna say, isn't some of it, like, stop action animation?
I don't know.
Like with the clay people?
Oh, yeah, they do have that. Yeah, that might be... Yeah, that probably is. But there is, like, the little bit where they go into old time... Is that animated, or is that... Yeah, I think that's animated. I know there's some later on in the series where they do full animation.
Oh, I gotcha. Yeah. Well, yeah, but that in itself takes a tremendous amount of time.
Right, so. Right.
Time.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of little moments that are... Like, the comedic timing on this is great. Like, when they're in the bath and he says, scrub, scrub, scrub until the water's brown. Because the preceding line is, what do you mean we're already clean? And you'd expect it to say green. But
yeah.
The delivery on that brown's really good.
And the little puppet's, like, eyes kind of cut over, like, what?
Yeah, yeah.
I love that kind of stuff. Like, the little subtle... like, what's happening here, you know, that you get on their faces, and which is funny because they're like Muppets or whatever you call them, you know?
Yeah. Or the little red guy during the fish bit, he's like, it's 9:30 and there's fish everywhere. They're everywhere.
Yeah. You're like, what? Yeah, I feel I feel like so my initial reaction to both of these was, what is this? Like, what am I watching here? Like, what? Like, I can't unsee it now, you know? But, or unhear, scrub, scrub, scrub till the water's brown. But then, like, once, like, that initial, like, what? I, like, stop and think, like, oh, this is actually kind of brilliant, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, that's
certainly.
how I felt.
Yeah.
Yeah, once you start thinking about it, you're like, oh, this is really cool, though, you know? I don't know that I would, like, I don't think I would watch this, like, late at night when I'm, like, in bed trying to go to sleep. I think it would creep me out a little.
Uh-huh.
Like, you know, early in the morning, like, I don't know, I get creeped out so easily. And anything that's, like, the least bit creepy, even if it is Muppets, I'm just like, ugh. Yeah.
Are you afraid a little...
It brings me back...
Muppet clock's
well,
gonna
it brings
get
me
you?
back to, yeah, basically, when Tickle Me Elmo was the thing. I think it was when you were, like, a baby. And, like, the Tickle Me Elmos, like, there was kind of this, like, thing where they would, like, open their eyes and be like, hi, I'm Elmo, you know, like, in the middle of the night. And it, like, turned into, like, a creepy kind of thing.
Yeah.
And do you remember any of that? Well, yeah, it was like this kind of lore around Tickle Me Elmos that they were evil. Like that's kind of the vibe.
Yeah, any of those like talking robotic like stuffed animal things, I've always had that sort of like people think they're creepy to them and like come up with like, oh, they'll like creepy
like
stories
Chucky.
about them. Yeah, like Chucky.
Yes. Yeah. And then like, do you remember the Teletubbies? I never watched that, but I thought they were super creepy. Like, those episodes were creepy. Like, I don't know. Like, they weren't meant to be creepy, but I was like, dude, something's off with these guys. Like,
They never
as a
talk,
kid, I'm
do
like,
they?
something's off with these guys. No, they made, like, it was just, like, the way it was filmed, and then, like, how the sun in the sky was, like, a baby face. And, like, I just thought it was, like, sinister. Like, from a young age, I was like, what? This is, like, a crazy, creepy show. Or, like, Barney the dinosaur, I thought was, like, real weird. Like, I don't know why I always thought, like, yeah, the Muppets and Muppet Babies, those are fine to me. But then you get into all these other ones. I don't know why I thought they were, like, super creepy. Like, but that, it brought me back watching these Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared shows. I was like, ooh, Muppets are kind of creepy, man.
Yeah, maybe that's why this worked so well. Part of why this like caught on so well is because people already have like experiences of thinking those stuff are creepy, and this sort of like
Yeah, maybe
literalizes
so.
that.
Yeah, and all the like, what did they used to have on, was it Comedy Central or something? They had like some kind of Muppet show that was like, I don't know that it was creepy, but maybe it was like just like dirty Muppets, you know? I don't really remember what it was, but I never watched it, but I just thought it was like some kind of show that used to happen. So I think, like, yeah, like you're saying, over the years there have been like other things exploring the theme of like Muppets, or like kid kind of things but making it adult, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, thanks for making me watch those. It's like so weird. I know, I feel like I have to go rewatch them and like see what I didn't catch the first time, you know?
There are 4 more too.
Oh my gosh.
You can enjoy that at some point in your future.
Oh yeah. I don't know if enjoy is the word, more like be disturbed by.
I love these things. They're great. I thoroughly enjoy them.
They are pretty good.
Alright, is that all we have to say about these two?
I think so.
Alright.
You got anything else?
Well, I just want to again say the design work is really top notch. The puppets and like sets are really good. I mean, they're obviously riffing off of something like Sesame Street, but I think it has its own like aesthetic to it that works really well.
Yeah, I agree with that. And like you said, the comedic timing, I think, is on point.
Alright then, so next topic?
Yeah. So, speaking of creepy things,
Oh,
let's talk about bugs.
I'm disappointed.
I mean, I don't think bugs are creepy,
Yeah.
but
Maybe a few of them, but for the most part.
okay, a lot of people think bugs are creepy.
Yeah, they do.
We are not among them, though.
Yes.
We like bugs, right?
Mostly. I don't like all
We're
bugs.
the only 2 people who like bugs.
I mean, there's tons of people that like bugs.
Well, I mean, like, in our little inner circle.
Yes. I think, though, that if you're going, like, at least for, like, Americans, it seems most people don't, like, liking
Yes.
bugs, or at least being, like, you know, sort of passive towards them. It seems to be a more minority position.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, most people I'm around, like, hate bugs.
So, yeah, I figured...
And don't get me wrong, I hate mosquitoes. Like, I don't like mosquitoes because they're so bad down here. And I get eaten up.
Right.
Like, if you're outside for, like, 5 seconds, yeah.
There are exceptions, but mostly I think they're fine. Like, I don't like stink bugs, and I don't like roaches and mosquitoes. Like
I don't
said.
like roaches, but I will have to say I've had a reckoning of sorts, okay? Because I realized, like, I'm a bug lover, okay? Like, I would try to rescue bugs of all sorts, okay? But I realized that with roaches, I was like, get those out of here, kill them, they must be murdered. And I was like, wait, like, how can I be like this about roaches if I'm, like, basically Buddhist in my approach to other bugs? And, like, aren't roaches bugs too? Like, don't they have the same rights as those other bugs? Like, why do I not feel the same way about roaches? So then I had, like, this kind of crisis of conscience where I was like, wait, like, should we be killing roaches? And of course, like, Travis, my husband's like, Jen, like, you have to kill a roach if it's in the house. And I'm like, But do we have to, or do we catch and release it like we do other bugs? Of course, I'm not catching a roach. I'll tell you that right now. But I'm like thinking in my head, like, I'm like really getting deep into this. Like, how can I treat all of these bugs with the respect they deserve, but not roaches? That's horrible, right? Isn't it terrible?
It is kind of inconsistent,
Yeah.
but I will say roaches,
It
one,
is.
are a potential allergen. I mean, I guess there are other bugs like,
They
bee
are.
stings, but
Yes.
roaches, by, like, their dust, is. And they can
And
also spread
They
diseases.
carry salmonella.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. And they bite.
Oh.
Roaches bite. Did you know that?
Is that a common thing to happen, though?
Well, I will tell you this. So, my niece's boyfriend at the time, this was like several years ago, they were in college and he lived in this like really crappy apartment and he had a problem. Like, they had a huge roach problem and the landlord was basically doing nothing about it. So, they had to like, I don't know exactly what they did, but they had to get like other people involved and like, because that's like illegal for the landlord to know there's a problem and not do anything. But he would wake up with like bites all over him.
Ooh.
And he was like allergic to them or something. It was just like, and it was definitely roaches. Like, it wasn't, oh, isn't that disgusting?
Right,
Like,
yeah.
thinking of roaches like crawling. No.
That's, like, that must have been really bad if there was enough that they were, like, crawling on you.
I was like, how did you even live there? Like, he would stay with other people. Yeah, and I was like, I could not, like, I saw one roach. So here, when it rains a lot, you'll get a roach here and there, but it's not like, unless you don't do pest control, you know, like, it's not common that you have a bunch of roaches in a house. But at work, there was a roach yesterday because it had rained a lot, and it was downstairs, like at the bottom of the stairs. And it was like on its back, but I was like, it's pretending to be dead. It's not really dead. Like, it's definitely not dead. So I just like walked around it. I'm like, I'm not touching it. I'm not killing it. I'm not rescuing it. I'm not touching it. So like, that's kind of where I was. But they're just so big. And also the ones that fly, like, are just terrible and they're unpredictable. That's why they creep me out so much.
They also, the way they move is just, like, really gross to me.
Yes. It is very creepy.
Yeah, I can't describe it. They just move weirdly, and I don't like it.
Yeah, but like other bugs, like spiders, a lot, like Travis is really creeped out by spiders. And so if we see, and we have a lot of spiders around here. If we see one, like, I'll like, he'll be like, Jen, there's a spider, and I'll go like catch it and release it outside. But he's like that, those freak him out a lot. And but I saw one the other day in the house, and I looked it up, like I googled like what kind of spider it was, and I just let him be because I was like, you know what, but they catch insects and stuff, so it's like a natural pest control, right? So I'm like, just leave him, like, he's fine. Or one time I saw was it a centipede or a millipede? I get those confused. The littler ones.
Centipedes have less legs, and they're usually flatter. Millipedes are like the little, they kind of look like a caterpillar with a lot of legs. They're usually black.
Yes, I think that's what I had. Like, I had, one, this was a while back, but I saw one, like, crawling in the bathroom. And so I was, like, looking it up. And I was reading, like, people were saying that they're actually good to have around because, again, they eat other bugs.
That must have been a centipede.
And they're not harmful. Yeah, I don't remember which one it was, but...
I don't think millipedes can, I don't think they're predatory bugs. I know centipedes are.
Okay. Oh, okay, yeah. So, and then by the time, like, I finished reading about him anyway, like, it was gone. So I was like, well, I couldn't catch it anyway.
Yeah.
So I was like, I guess it lives with us now. Yeah, but, I don't know. I hate when people kill bugs.
Right, yeah.
Like, just because they're bugs.
The only ones I'll kill is if, like, there's a little flying thing and it flies near me.
See, I just, like, I mean, I'll swat it away, but, I just won't, you know, especially, like, pollinators. I'm like, you can't kill the pollinators.
Right, yeah.
Just catch them and put them outside, you know? And I try, like, if we have, like, little wildflowers that pop up in the yard. And so one time I was like, Trav, those are for the pollinators. Like, we have a shortage of pollinators right now. Like, we got to keep them alive. And so, like, he cut the grass and left, like, these 3 tall wildflowers, like, sticking up. And I was like, thank you. So, and I was trying to teach like my neighbor's kid because she's like, oh, bugs, kill it. And I'm like, no, 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 bugs are good. Like you have to be nice to bugs, which is probably opposite of what her mom's teaching her. But I'm like, no, everybody hates it. I feel like they get a bad rap.
Yeah, they do.
But then I come into like when you have a choice to make, right? Like, so I was at a crossroads. Like there was this big spider outside on the porch. This was a few months ago as well. And I'm pretty sure it was not a black widow, but a brown widow, because we have those here. And it was like underneath like the little table that's outside. And then this like, I think it was like a stink bug was walking by, and the spider like came down and tried to catch it in its net. And I rescued the little stink bug. Like I got a stick and I cut the spider web, you know, like trying to get the spider web out because its legs were like wound up. So I like very carefully extracted it from the spider web. But then I felt bad because I'm like, well, the spider was just trying to eat. Like this is the natural progression of life, right? And I just like intervened. And then like the next day, because I was like, well, maybe I should kill this spider because it is harmful, you know, to people. I went to go look for it, and like the next day it was like dead. And then I felt responsible because I took its food source. So I don't know. I didn't know how to feel about that because I like on one hand I saved a bug, you know, on the other hand the other one died. So I'm like, oh, whoa.
They do eat each other, and other things eat them. I don't know if like saving them from being eaten is necessarily like a thing to do.
Yeah, like what if it went on to like suffer a horrible death like right after that, and that would have been like a kind death.
I don't,
you know,
how
like,
kind is,
where do I fit in a bug's life?
Yeah, spider bite compared to other things.
I don't know I don't know what it feels like. So
I guess the venom would I don't know if that numbs it any or anything. I don't know if that's a thing that can happen with bugs.
I don't know, but like, at what point am I intervening in a bug's life, and does it matter at all? You know?
Yeah. Philosophical questions.
I think like it is, yeah. Like, and it's definitely like weird. Like I get like weird looks from people with my bug saving skills. So I know it's not like a normal thing, but I just like I can't kill anything. Even a roach, like I can't kill it. Like I have to call somebody else to come get it, you know?
Oh. I don't have problems killing most things. I just prefer not to with the bugs. And I'm usually like, you're an advanced level of caring about bugs. I'm at I'll leave it alone.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's not bothering me. Yeah. You're actively like trying to,
like, I must save it.
catch and relocate or save them.
Yeah. And I get really sad. Like, so one time I walked in my office at work and there were like 30 bees that were dead in my office. And I was like, what happened here? It was over a weekend. Like I came back on Monday and I was like, why was there a bee massacre in my office? And I was like devastated because of course, like, you know, pollinators and I love bees. And I was like, why is this a bee graveyard? Like, I don't understand what happened. I felt like my whole office had like bad juju that day. So, I called like the maintenance guy and was telling him like, what happened? And he said like they had to get a bee guy to come remove a hive from one of the buildings once. And he said the bee guy like said if they don't have a food source, like if they get inside and they don't have a food source right away, they basically die really fast. And so that explained it. But I had to like sweep up like all these dead bees. And I was like horrified. It was like a horror show. And nobody else cared. But I was just like, this is so weird. So I mean, I know it's definitely like a weird, like I have feelings for bugs when they die. Like I'm like, oh, it's so sad. And I don't know why I'm like that, but nobody else is that I've found anyway. Maybe there's a support group for us.
There are definitely people. I just think they're rarer. And I'm not like on your level of like that distraught over bug deaths, but yeah, it's not like, you know, it is sad, but it's not like, I don't know. I'm trying
You're
to
not,
compare, like,
upset
yeah,
about
it's
it.
more like a sad song playing in the background while you're at a grocery store
Yes.
compared to, like, a
Right.
really sad scene in a movie, if that, makes
That's a
sense.
good analogy. No, that's a good analogy. And I mean, like, I can move on pretty quickly, but, like, at the time, I'm like, oh, I wish I could have saved them. Like, why? But, yeah, I, like, fully understand that it's not a normal thought process, but, I mean, what are you gonna do? But, so you want to, like, isn't there a certain bug, like, you want to have as a pet or
Yeah,
something?
they're called,
Weren't you talking
blue
about that?
death feigning beetles. They're these little, like,
Oh my gosh.
blue, desert beetles. And, they look neat because they're blue and they got this really cool, like, shape to them, I think. And, they're called that because
Yeah.
they like to play dead a lot.
Oh, so why do you want those? Just because they're cool looking, or
Yeah, they're cool looking and they're desert beetles, so they're easy to take care of.
how long do they live? I know, like, bugs don't live for that long usually.
Yeah, but these can live apparently like 10 to 20 years.
Oh my gosh, wow.
Like, that's been, what people have reported.
That's crazy.
I mean, but because they're like, desert beetles, they're really, tough.
Yeah.
Like, they can apparently go, like, a long time without eating. They can withstand a lot, like, because their exoskeletons are really hard or something like
So
that.
I watched a documentary, well, it was like this Planet Earth, whatever documentary, and one of them was on, like, desert beetles, not specifically those kind, but just to make me seem like even weirder bug person, I actually watched a documentary about them. But I love when they show the, like, up close of, like, the little beetles, like, rolling stuff in the dirt and the desert and stuff. Like, I'm just like, whoa, those are like little worker things, They're really cool.
Yeah, so you're also on not just, like, emotionally feeling for bugs. You think they're cool, too?
I do think they're cool. Like, the other day, I was like, hey, Trav, like, how do you think these ants feel, like, when somebody steps in their ant pile and they spent, like, hours of work, like, digging their little tunnels and, like, getting their ant piles just right? He's like, Jen, I don't think ants think. And I was like, good point. Like, I go way too far with it. Like,
Yeah, I think
but-
that's, getting into anthropomorphizing. But they
yeah,
definitely have
definitely. Yeah.
a hostile response. You could maybe classify that as anger.
Mm-hmm.
It might be more, like, oh no, we're under attack, defensive sort of thing. But
Yeah.
they
yeah.
certainly seem angry when they bite you.
You know what? I blame, when I was a kid, there was a show called Maya the Bee, and it was like a little cartoon on, like, Disney or something, or Nickelodeon. And I used to watch it when I was a kid, and I think that's where, like, from a young age, I would, like, give these, human qualities to bugs. I remember one episode when, like, somebody swatted Maya the Bee, and she was all upset because, like, somebody swatted at her, and she was just trying to be friendly. That's where it comes from.
Oh.
Blame the media. Like, years later, I'm still thinking, like, don't swat at that bug. It's just trying to be friendly.
Yeah, well,
It's terrible.
I feel like with not just bugs, but animals in general, people view a lot of them as more, like, threatening than they are.
Yes, like possums. Okay. Like, stop killing possums. They're good to have around your house.
Yeah, and they're almost certainly gonna be more scared of you. I mean, that's classic line. They're more scared of you than you are of them, but...
Exactly. We have a big one I see on the little cameras over here at night. Like, it'll come in my driveway and stuff. So we named him Ollie. Ollie the opossum. We pronounced the O on that. So I even give the rodents names around my house.
Sounds like a neat possum.
It really is. I mean, I haven't had a conversation. I don't know if it's a male or female, but we call it a he, and his name is Ollie. I don't know how we got from bugs to that, but
Oh, well, I said people are scared of, animals a lot more.
yes.
And bugs are part of that.
Yeah, they get a bad rap, man.
Yeah.
I also think this goes back to, like, when I was in middle school, I wanted to be an animal activist. So this just kind of, like, goes into my love of animals and all creatures in general. But I mean, saying that though, you catch me like if I'm sleeping in bed and there's like a roach crawling up me, like I would freak out, you
I
know?
mean, I don't like bugs crawling on me, but
No.
that's just a weird feeling. It's either weird or annoying.
Yeah. Yeah, like you don't want anything crawling on you. So weird. But so are you going to get your beetles? Like how do you get those?
You have to buy them, and they're not in stock right now. So,
Oh, where do you get them from?
online.
Oh, and they like mail them to you or what?
Yeah, just different people sell them, like independent sellers.
I don't understand how people mail bugs. So like I know like my neighbors just got this little like butterfly thing where they mail you the little, I guess they're little caterpillars, right? And then my friend ordered like a bunch of worms to put in her garden to make the soil really good. And like they just mail you worms. Like I'm like, what? How do you do that? How do you keep them contained without it being airtight?
I don't know.
I don't get
I
it.
guess like you have like a solid lid with like air holes, and then I guess make sure the packaging has
Well, how do they not get knocked around so much in transport?
Yeah, that probably does happen. I don't know how you like. I guess some of them are like, strong enough that won't like hurt them, but
Yeah, I
I
feel like
don't
it's
know.
like really rough for the bugs. Like,
They
I
must
don't
have
know.
something where they like ship them with like cuz I imagine they do that with fragile things, right? Like if you have to send something fragile, you can mark it as
Yeah,
that
but
or something.
have you ever ordered anything fragile and it got to you and it was all broken? Like those people don't care. The
Yeah,
mail
yeah, that does
people don't
happen.
care about fragile stuff. Yeah, I actually had one time a mail lady. She like threw a package at the porch. But so that's how I feel like when bugs are transported. Like, how are they not being like thrown around, you know? But I guess, like you said, if they're tough enough, like the beetles sound like they'll be tough enough for that.
Yeah. Although people also transport like much less tough insects for pets, like praying mantises and spiders and stuff,
Oh, yeah.
which can be
Those things
quite
are really
fragile.
cool.
I guess maybe you like have a container you keep them in that keeps them relatively steady, prevents harm.
I feel like they would be just wrecked by the time they got to you, you know? I don't know. It's so weird, though. But you have to let me know if you get them. That would
Yeah,
be really
will
cool.
do.
What do they eat?
They're scavengers, so like any bits of like protein stuff you have and like fruits and vegetables. I was gonna buy like big bag of like dried out mealworms to feed them
Yeah.
because they'll eat that. And then the cool thing about them, because they're desert beetles, you don't have to give them like any water. They get their water from food, so you just give them fruits and vegetables, and they can eat that and get their water from that.
Oh, that's cool. Well, you need to get a big cage. And are they the ones that like the documentary I watched where they like roll up the dirt or the dung or
No, they don't
whatever?
do anything like that.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say you need to have like a big enough one that they could do that, but you don't have to worry about that.
Nope.
But do you feel like when you have like a pet like that and you're like enclosing them in this like environment that you're not like letting them live their full lives outside in the real world? Or do you feel like you're giving them like a
Yeah,
better life because they're protected?
that's why I wouldn't want to get a snake. I mean, I don't know, like with like snakes or lizards stuff like that in general. The stuff kind of have to keep caged. Like how much they care about that, because like with these beetles,
Right.
they like to spend a lot of time like bunched up together and hiding under things. So I don't
So it
like.
probably wouldn't matter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not like too bad. They do like to move around, but like you figure you get a big enough container and they're fine with the space. But yeah, like there's a lot of things I would feel like, would they like being kept in a container?
Or like Travis said, I don't think they really think. Like,
Well,
okay, yeah.
reptiles do if you're getting that advanced.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
Bugs
true.
maybe not. They certainly have a different I mean, and I guess if you get something like a spider, that would love nothing more than to just like set up in one spot and sit there forever, you know?
That's true. I think like Sparky used to have a pet tarantula when we were little.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe that's also what contributed to my fascination with bugs.
Oh, we can have a semantic argument about whether or not tarantulas are bugs or not.
Oh,
That's
what
the
else
thing
would they
people
be?
get into. Well, because
Really?
some people, when they say bug, they mean insect. Like, very
Oh.
specifically. And not, arachnids, you know.
Oh, no, I feel like arachnids are bugs as well. Like, I just throw
Right.
everything into the bug category. But, I mean, that's kind of a good question. Yeah.
Any sort of, like, invertebrate crawly thing, you know, they all look similar enough that,
Yeah.
they count
Crawly,
as bugs.
flyy.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's just a general, bucket to throw them in. Not that I would
Yeah.
ever throw a bug.
But yeah, some people do only consider insects to be bugs.
Very interesting. I like how we went from "Don't hug me, I'm scared" to like creepy crawly creatures, even though to us they're not creepy crawly, right?
Well, they are crawly.
They all crawly, but are they creepy when they crawl?
No.
No, they're not. So, at least you and I are the only people who truly think that. At least that I know. I'm sure a lot of other people do, but, we have that in common. Bug
Yes.
lovers.
Bugs are neat.
Bugs are neat, yes. I get a bumper sticker that says that.
Oh, do you have any weird bug stories?
One time when we were in St. Lucia, you have to sleep with those bug nets over your bed because it's like super tropical. And Travis wouldn't tell me exactly what happened, but what I deducted was that he woke up and there was a bug like legit crawling on me around my head area, or it was like on the outside of the bug net crawling. I don't know. He wouldn't tell me the truth because he knew I would freak out and probably not sleep there again. So that was really kind of creepy. I don't know where the bug was and I don't want to know. But surprisingly, I have had a roach on me like 4 or 5 times in my life.
Oh, huh.
And yes,
That's
I don't
ick.
know, like, and other people have not had this experience, but like here we have a lot of roaches outside. And they just get on you sometimes. And like, but I don't know anybody else who's had that many times. And for me to, like, I'm very afraid of roaches. Yeah, I guess afraid's the right word. But for them to be on me that many times, like, I'm like, what am I doing? Like, why, it's so weird. But that has really creeped me out. And I guess that's also why I'm a little afraid of them, because if they've been on me, and that is the creepiest thing when a roach is on you. Like, you can tell a roach is on you, like you can tell it's a roach.
Huh. Well, I wouldn't know. I've never had one on me.
Oh, it's disgusting. And they're
Oh,
so
yeah.
big. Like, that's the problem. They're like huge.
The
Yeah.
the ones around here usually aren't that big, so
Oh, really? You have like the little guys?
usually I've seen a few bigger ones, but usually the ones around here are
Well,
the smaller ones.
I've tried to like turn it around in my mind. Like, roaches are like other bugs. They're not completely disgusting and like horrible. Treat them respectfully. Not really, but I'm just like, stop being so freaked out by them. Like, I'm trying to make myself not be freaked out. But like I said, when they crawl on you multiple times in your life, like,
Yeah.
it creeps me out
Yeah.
a lot. Like, I one time I was walking under a tree, a roach fell on my back and was crawling up my back.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't want anything like crawling up my back.
No. So every time it rains, like, I avoid walking under trees. Like to this day, and that was like years ago that happened. And I had one time at work, a roach crawled on my foot, and I was wearing like sandals, so my foot was like, exposed. It would just crawl across my foot, and I would like, oh my gosh, I freaked out so much. I went and like washed my foot in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I've had those experiences. Also, when we were in St. Lucia, we had this like huge tarantula on the wall, And like I asked like a guy who worked at the place we were staying, I was like, what do we do about this? And he's like, oh, I'll handle it. And I'm thinking like he's gonna like get it and move it out. No, he took like a shoe and like smashed it. And I was like horrified. That was kind of like I witnessed a tarantula murder right before my eyes. I don't know if I have any other crazy bug stories. I think that's crazy enough.
Okay, so speaking of things crawling on you, I have a few of these. One, and this is maybe a bit mundane for weird, but like it's so there's these like beetles that live around here. I mean, beetles live everywhere, but they're like really slow and kind of thin, and I've like seen them inside like maybe 10 or less times. Like they almost never get inside. And one time I was, sitting, watching something on YouTube, and I feel like this itch on my back, so I go to itch, and I feel something like crunch, and there was a beetle on me, and I accidentally killed it. I didn't realize, like, I thought it was just itchy, and I have no idea how it got on me. Like, these things generally don't come inside. I don't know, like, if it got on my chair or if I, like, walked by it and it crawled on me somehow. It was so weird.
Oh, that is so weird.
And the other 2 times, which this one definitely would creep some people out. I have multiple times been using the bathroom and had a spider crawl on my hair.
What?
Yeah, like, I guess they descended from the ceiling or something. But, like, yeah,
they liked your hair.
It's probably happened to other people. I've just noticed it.
Yeah. Well, Travis one time was putting on like his cycling jersey, and he kept it like in the other room, and like it was hanging up, and he put it on. He felt something crawling on him, so he took it off right away, and it was a brown recluse.
Ooh, that's not good.
Which those could be. Yeah, no, we have some like real. I'm sure y'all have that up there too, but we have some like real dangerous spiders that are like common around here. Yeah, and he was so freaked out because he hates spiders. But I felt bad for him. But that is creepy. Anytime you have something crawling on you, you're like, what is it?
Yeah. Well, I didn't realize it was crawling on me at first, a little beetle.
Yeah.
Like, I thought I just had an itch.
Oh my god, I'm surprised. Like, because usually if anything's crawling on me, I can, like, tell if it's a spider or, like, another kind of bug. You know what I mean? Like, which I guess tells you I've had spiders and bugs crawl on me a lot. Like, why?
Yeah.
Why me? Maybe they know I'm a friend of their kingdom. I don't know. Maybe that's why the spiders crawl on you. They know you're a gentle soul. I don't know. But that is kind of freaky, especially in the bathroom. Like, do they live there? Like,
yeah, they
just
live
crawling down to
everywhere.
say hi.
Like, if you go look around, I mean, probably any house, you'll find spiders. Any, like,
oh, yeah,
sort of workplace or something like that. You'll find them hanging out somewhere.
One time, I have this big chair, like, in the living room. And it has, like, a little, I guess it's like a little dust ruffle or whatever you call it at the bottom. You could, like, lift it up and see the bottom of it. So I saw, like, something, like, kind of like dust or something around the edge, and I lifted it up, and there's this like big old ball of like spider eggs, and I didn't know what it was at the time. This was like several years ago, and I went to go like vacuum it up, and like all the little tiny spiders, like I guess I like messed up the egg, and all the little spiders started crawling everywhere. It was like the craziest thing I've ever seen. Like, I didn't know they did that at the time, so that was kind of cool. And then I felt bad. I was trying to, like, wreck these spiders' lives. But, I mean, you can't have a million spiders in your house either,
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's a fine line between love and killing. All right. Well, that's about all I have to say about bugs.
I've got one more, and this is more about me than bugs, but, every year, certain time of the year, it's ladybug season, and they start getting in the house. They like
right.
going in places. And so every year I get like a few in my room. Usually not too many, but like, I get a few, and they like to fly around and land on things and stuff. And something that has happened to me multiple times. So I'll have one fly from somewhere like behind me to in front of me, and I will have a, split second of recognizing, oh hey, that's a ladybug, and then involuntarily I'll, get startled and jump. And that's happened to me multiple times. I'm not, scared of ladybugs or anything. They're not threatening in the slightest. It's just, and I'll already, have processed the information that this is a ladybug.
Because it's startling, I think. It's just, out of the blue, you see something flying in your line of sight and that, startles you. Yeah. It's an involuntary reaction, I guess, right?
Yeah, and one time this happened, and I was holding my phone, and I dropped my phone on my laptop, which caused my laptop to crash.
Oh, no!
Yeah, that was something.
Those ladybugs are out to ruin your life. They look all sweet and friendly, but they're not. They're sinister.
Well, apparently, there's one part of my brain that's just terrified of them, despite the fact that the other part has already processed it.
That's too funny. Poor little ladybugs. Just trying to live their life,
Well, their life seems to consist of getting in houses and then leaving corpses everywhere.
Well, apparently that's every bug's life. And to find me and crawl on me. So we've established that we like bugs. We know some things about bugs. I try to give them human qualities.
Yes.
So I guess the message is, was it yesterday? No, Thursday was Earth Day. I don't remember. That we all need to do a little bit better and welcome bugs and not kill them.
Yeah.
Especially pollinators.
They're an important part of the environment. If you're bringing up Earth Day.
Yes, and ants are a vital part of the ecosystem. Don't ask me how, I just remember reading that
They're
one time.
Scavengers, aren't they? They,
I don't know.
Decompose a lot of stuff?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, so don't kill them. Stop poisoning their ant piles. It's so rude. Okay, on that note, we probably should close out because we can get really deep into this.
First.
Oh, okay.
Don't bug me, I'm scared.
Don't bug me. I love it. Brilliant.
Alright, well, that's been The Beach View. I hope you enjoyed it. If you didn't,
tune in next time.
Yeah,
you might
tune
like
in
it
next
better.
time. You might like that one better. Alright.
We don't know.
Bye.
Bye.